Hi and welcome. Welcome back if you've been here before. This is going to be a reading for Pisces. and regardless of where you have Pisces in your birth chart, or if the title just called out to you from the video, there might be a message here for you. The messages in all the zodiac signs seem to somehow sync up or have some connecting messages. So if you're guided to any of the other zodiac messages, there might be something there for you. Usually everything in the universe is connected in some way, and when we start seeing things in that way, we can learn a lot more. And the light is a little bit dim, but that's okay. It's still visible. Let's see. What message do we have for Pisces? There was a card that stood out to me when I was shuffling, and I thought it would come out, but it didn't. Okay, so again, these two cards have come out in one or two of the other readings for this series. And the bottom of the deck energy is behind a mask. And let me just see, right? There are quite a number of cards in this deck that haven't come out at all for this series, and a few that has been coming out frequently. Okay, but let's have a look. And this is the cool thing about oracle cards and tarot and symbology and other things as well, that when you look at something, you might see one thing, right? And when you look at it again, you might see the same thing. But sometimes you can look at something after you've seen it before a number of times, and then there's something more, something deeper, something different, something more significant, something you didn't notice before. And this is how human nature works, right? How we view things is from our perspective, and our perspectives shift, and as we grow, we have more insight to things, right? So I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that. We have victim mentality, and we have letting go. Someone is letting go of victim mentality, or needs to let go of victim mentality. I feel like Pisces, for you, you might have felt at times like you were a victim to circumstances, and you might very well have been a victim to circumstances, and that's what I'm getting for this reading. It's having been victim to certain things, right? And like usually when I look at this card, I see someone that the message is usually someone that is feeling down on themselves, and they don't know how to get themselves out of the situation, but they could if they just got out of their feels. But what I'm feeling for this specific message is that you have been victim to circumstances, and you might feel sometimes that you're overwhelmed with emotions, and we are human beings. I feel like it's so important that we don't shame ourselves through our healing and through our growth, right? Because that just creates more things that you need to heal from. It is completely normal to feel down sometimes, sad sometimes, angry sometimes. But with so much in social media and so much awareness of healing and growth and abundance mindset and manifestation, it almost makes us feel like this is something that we strive for, and that we have to reach a certain level of healing and growth, and that you never slip back, and you're never allowed to feel down, and you always need to be high vibrational, and you always need to be this perfect being. And in the spiritual community, it might feel like you always need to be love and light, and you always need to be this good person, whatever that means. And I feel like someone is letting go of feeling like they need to be perfect, and that making them feel down and out, or sad, or overwhelmed. I mean, all of healing and growth is about being authentic. And sometimes you're going to be down, and sometimes you're going to be sad, and sometimes you're going to feel confident, and sometimes you're going to feel happy, and sometimes you're not. So behind the mask, I'm just looking at the deck that I want to use next. Let's see what this behind the mask card is. What aspect of yourself are you now able to show? I feel like healing and growth is just about awareness, like, oh, that's what I do in those circumstances, and not, I shouldn't do that ever, or how could I have done that? I need to change who I am. It's just like, oh, when I feel uncomfortable, I giggle. Or when I'm afraid, I freeze in situations, and then I don't make decisions. It's about, that's the awareness that I have. Okay, maybe next time in that situation, I can ask myself, why am I afraid? And that's it. Because sometimes there are things to be afraid of. And sometimes, it's not about not being triggered. It's about, showing yourself love and understanding through the things that are triggering you. It's not about acting like you're not triggered, or, closing your heart off, or being so woke and so enlightened that nothing will ever get to you. Which is definitely not the case, no matter how much you've healed. The poet, ooh. This card has a special place in my heart. This poetry has a special place in my heart. And it did come out in the reverse. Right? So we are asking what mask is being put down. Turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. The positive light attribute is expresses soul insight in symbolic language. I feel like this is about using gifts, whatever gifts that is, whether you are a poet or a writer, or you're good at something, anything, right? Using that in a negative way to perpetuate a negative narrative, or where's my lightseer stick? Oh, there we go. To create a persona, like the thing that you're good at is who you are, or the thing that you are best at, because we are all usually good at many things, is your persona, and then attaching so much to that it can be destructive. Sometimes when I'm doing these readings, like, I don't know how much sense it makes, and sometimes it makes perfect sense, and sometimes it doesn't, and well, maybe it doesn't always make perfect sense to me, because for whoever it is, it will. We have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, we have the Devil, the 4 of Cups, and the 6 of Swords. And these two sort of have the same energy. It's like no longer feeling lack. And this doesn't have to be material lack. It can be like she might feel like she's not good enough, like the way she's dressed. It's giving Cinderella vibes. But Cinderella was always happy. She liked herself. She, didn't necessarily feel like I can't go out because I don't, you know, I don't fit in there because I don't have nice clothes to wear. It's not being attached to. Okay, so this is telling me that you no longer feel bad, feel down on yourself, feel lack, feel sad, feel abandoned. You don't have. It's almost like you've healed past things that might generally make someone feel like they are unhealed. It's almost like you look at power struggles in relationships, you look at negativity in the world, you look at things that are tempting that, we could overindulge in, and you're like, I don't really need that. I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. And not that you're just saying it, you actually feel it. You've let go of the things that have kept you tied to not feeling like the best version of yourself. Wow, this is cute. I don't know why I said cute, but this is cute. How this message is coming through. And it's like emotionally you're becoming more stable. And when I say that, there's so many levels to things. Like, people don't have to be outwardly emotionally unsettled, or and unstable doesn't mean like you lash out or whatever. Like, this could just mean that emotionally you are balanced. And this is what's happening for you now. Emotionally you are balanced. Like, you can feel your feels, you can be sad, and you're still emotionally healthy inside. This is what I'm getting. This is cute. I like this. You no longer feel the need to wear a mask and attached to anything. Like, I'm getting very non-attachment vibes from this reading. And I say the word non-attachment because detachment can sound like you don't care, you don't, nothing is meaningful to you. Non-attached, you don't feel attached to an identity, but you still know who you are, and you're not pulled around by say for instance you're an empath, right? And there's levels to everything, but because you care a lot about people, and that can be the gift, empathy can be a gift, or you let your emotions make you do things in the name of doing things for people because you care, but it's not really the best thing for you to do, and in turn it wouldn't be the best thing for them, right? You're not just doing something because it's the nice thing to do, but if it's really something that you want to do, feel called to do, and in the moment is the right thing to do, then you'll do it. Or you're not pulled to having certain careers because it seems it has a certain status to it, or it would be respectable, or people would look up to you. It's almost like your choices are not from your own wounds, and not because you feel like you need things, but because you want things. Like, if you want to have a flashy car, there's nothing wrong with having a flashy car, but you're not getting the flashy car because everybody's driving that make of car, or that's the make of car that's the latest, so it would give you a certain status. It's like And a lot of the time, none of those things are conscious anyway, and sometimes it is. But your identity is not based on anything outside of you. This is a really cute reading. I will say that again. That is really cute. And really straightforward. I don't feel like I need to dive into it so much deeper. It's like you might have at some point, like I feel like in your healing journey, and I saw a TikTok about this earlier, where we can misinterpret spiritual teachings, even religious teachings, right, from our own perspective. And when we are in religion and in spirituality taught that not to attach our worth to material things, that doesn't mean you shouldn't have material things. And you might have been at that place where in your spiritual journey you felt bad for having good things, or felt like you shouldn't have good things, and now you're not there anymore. You're at a very balanced place where it is not your identity, but you can still enjoy it and appreciate it. But what you don't like, you don't have this, oh, that is terrible, these people are bad, I don't do that kind of thing. You don't have that mentality either. It's just like, I don't like, it's like choosing between two different crystals, or choosing between cake and chips. You're not making either one bad. You're just saying, I prefer this, it's healthier for me, and I'm not doing it purely because it's healthier for me, but I really enjoy it. And if I do want to have the less healthier option sometimes, then I will. There's a balance here. I like this. And I don't know why you would need to hear this, but maybe sometimes we don't realize the shifts we've made internally, and sometimes it's just good to hear it. I'm going to get a worker light oracle card just to end this off. 2. Okay. Break the chain, and it's in reverse. You've broken the chain. You have broken your own patterns, your own programming, your own conditioning. And sometimes we don't feel it. Maybe that's why you need to hear it. We don't see it in ourselves if we don't have something to, see, like a mirror to see it in, right? And not a mirror as in the physical object. You have healed certain things. You have broken certain patterns. You have changed. Why would you need to know this? Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? I feel like you have answered the call. And maybe you just need to know that you have answered the call, that you are being more true to yourself, that you are walking the path that you are intended to walk. And it doesn't have to feel, or so deep. It is that deep. When you are true to yourself, it's that deep. Like, you need to give yourself the acknowledgement that you deserve, knowing that you're being true to yourself. And because we can't always see spiritual growth and inner growth, that we don't always give ourselves that pat on the back. You can't see it with your eyes, like I've gone from this point to that point. You have to feel it. So this reading is basically just a mirror for you to see that you've let go of certain things. And if you sometimes feel this way, that's human nature, but it's not your identity. And you don't have to shame and guilt certain things, or make something out to be negative or so bad for you to detach from it, or not be attached to it, or just not choose it, or outgrow it, or move away from it. Your taste can change. You just don't like to watch certain movies anymore, horror movies anymore. Like, it might have been something that you were really into, watching horror movies, and now, like, you don't have to make it out like horror movies are bad and they put certain thoughts in your mind and it can affect your vibration. You can just be like, I'm now sensitive to that, and I prefer to watch things, wildlife documentaries, because I learn things and I enjoy that now. That's where I am now. It interests me now. We don't have to shame and guilt and ostracize ourselves, isolate ourselves, alienate ourselves to choose something different, to want something different, to, you know, be the best version of ourselves. I could go in and describe that a little bit more, but I'm not going to. I feel like it's very clear. Pisces, you have outgrown a phase of healing, and that's okay. You have broken certain chains, and there doesn't have to, I feel like that there doesn't have to be any demonizing and villainizing of anyone, anything, and you are where you are in your journey, and where you are doesn't mean anyone else is ahead of you or anyone else is behind you or above you or below you. It's just where you are, and it's, you can appreciate where you are and where you were, and you can appreciate that everybody else is where they are, and that's okay. I hope that something in this reading was helpful. If you've made it this far, please consider sharing, commenting, or subscribing. And I hope that I will see you again in another video.